we're good to go.
Okay,
Cool.
thanks, Sam. Right, so thanks everyone for attending the District Promotion Committee meeting, 30th of October. I have an apology from Jim, so can I have a mover and a seconder, please, for that? So Claire and myself, all those in favour, say aye.
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 Carried. Any disclosure of members' interests?
Well, I'd like to disclose that I'm likely to benefit from the BMX Championship being held in Te Amutu as an Airbnb host. That's all.
Okay, we won't worry about noting that one.
No.
Yeah, quite happy to ignore that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So we will go to late items. So is there any late items? Nope. Number 14 is confirmation of the order of the meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the minutes of the last meeting that was held on the 21st of September?
Happy to move.
Philip and Liz. So all those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. And we'll assume that those are all correct.
Marcus, can we just get a mover and seconder for the order of the meeting as well,
Oh,
thanks?
Order of the meeting.
Yeah, Kevin moves.
Kevin.
3 seconds.
Great. So item number 6 is the Community Event Fund 2021 allocation report. Global.
I've got a point with that, Marcus. In the third paragraph, it mentions that there's an adding up here, like it's the 6,500 and 4,500 add up to 11,000, but it's actually 9,000 that's left.
So who is?
Hi, that's me. Okay, so we're about, sorry, in the
third paragraph, it says to resolve 9,000 for future requests, and since then 6,500 has been allocated, leaving 4,500, but actually it should be 2,500, or possibly it was 11,000. I think it was 11,000 that was actually left.
It was 11.
Okay, 11,000, and but previous to allocating to the 2 additional events?
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of 9,000, it should be 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Anything? Well, yeah. Would you want to go through the report?
Yep, I'm happy to do that. So basically, we had the request in from Florence for the to the fund. So basically, the event is very soon, and Florence herself has actually been running it for about 3 or 4 years now. So Jim actually knows her quite well, I think, and she's they're sort of both across it. And I think she has applied for funding before, but maybe hasn't done it through the correct process. So yeah, we got it in on time this time, and she's just asking for a small token of $500, basically just to cover her personal expenses, so phone expenses, meal expenses, things like that, because she basically runs the event herself. So and yeah, it's just promoting.
I'm sorry, just to interrupt. So she is a well-known personality in the Cambridge area and a well-known advocate for the elderly. So I have no problems with her personally or anything like that. She is a champion for old people's causes and a bit of a personality in Cambridge. So there's no problem for me as a Cambridge community person.
Absolutely. And I personally met her just randomly getting a coffee outside of the French Cafe.
Yes.
I literally just started in my role here. And I was heading, it was prior to coming across to work, got chatting with her, and then she was telling me all about the Global Walk event and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, how did I not know about this? Oh my goodness. But yeah,
Yes.
lovely lady, and very, very passionate.
Yep.
So yeah, our first time funding the event essentially, and then yeah, I think she had spoken to Jim and Kathy before, and there was talks of an offering of $200 from the community board fund, which is obviously on the side, but if you agree with the $500 from the event fund, she will just have to turn the other one down. Yeah.
Okay.
So I will move from the chair recommendation A, B, and C. Can I have a seconder? Yep, so move second. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thanks very much. Item 7, district promotion funds 2021 for the North Island BMX champs. Over to you, Claire.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so so a big event for Te Awamutu, which is exciting. It's a new committee, so sort of had to give them quite a bit of info on how to apply for the funds, and sort of had to keep going back and forth. But I've spoken to Amber about it, and she's quite familiar with previous BMX events, with the previous committees and everything, and she is very, very favourable to them, because it's obviously bringing an event to TA, and also it brings a lot of out-of-towners in, and a lot of people get behind the event. There's all ages participating in it, right from your sort of I think she said there's some granddads in the race itself, and then there's the like toddlers on their bikes as well. So great opportunity for the town. They were sort of very unsure of sort of what to apply for, so I gave them a little bit of advice in that. The actual application itself wasn't fantastic, wasn't put together very well, but their main request is that they're wanting equipment. They're really requesting for that equipment just to have it at the event, because if they can avoid paying for marquees and things like that themselves, that would be fantastic. So yeah, it's not only just the money. They would really love to have the Home of Champs equipment there as well. But yeah, so they came in with the request, quite a high request. I'm trying to find the amount now. 5,000, yeah. And I spoke to Charlotte, my manager, and she was just kind of like the actual application itself is not very detailed. They're sort of very vague on the numbers and things like that, which I had to keep going back to them for. So we sort of thought maybe we could give them a smaller amount, but offer the equipment as well. Happy to hear thoughts on that one.
Do you want some support or discussion, Marcus, yet, or?
Oh, you're on mute, Marcus.
We can't hear you.
It's a good thing.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, we'll give you 2 seconds. Should I just take over in the interim?
Yep.
It's going to be rude by the looks of it. So yeah, and let's have some general discussion. I mean, I guess I'm pretty supportive of it. Claire, I guess you're feeling.
Yeah, well, in fact, I feel inclined actually to give them a bit more. I mean, Claire said that there wasn't much information, but I'm looking at the budget, which is what page is that? Page 53. And actually, they've got heaps of expenses, you know, and I appreciate that the marquee hire is going to save them a bit of money, but they're still hiring toilets and reliming the track. I mean, if you were comfortable, I'd be happy to increase it, really. And I note that, in the matrix that you gave us, like other events that scored 30, they were funded to a similar amount, you know, more than $1,000 or a quarter of what was requested. I mean, I'm really keen to, have a really good event over the Tiamutu side, because, you know, the lion's share of those events are going over to Karapiro and Cambridge. So, yeah, that's how I feel.
You get no argument out of me, Claire. In fact, I'm endorsing you, and with just really coming up with an improved amount. I've seen what BMX can do events in Cambridge, and it's a North Island. That's a prestigious event. You know, it's just what's the quantum, and I don't know, Merv. Claire, I'm more than happy to support that, but it's just how much, you know. One's certainly not enough. And okay, the quality of the application may not have been there. They're learning, but the quality of the event itself is without doubt. So I've said enough. Merv?
Yeah, I just think that if they didn't quite get the application right, we shouldn't penalise them, particularly for a North Island type event. And Claire, you can help them in the future with their paperwork. I thought 1,000 was a bit stingy.
I guess
thanks, Merv.
when I look at the application and see that it's a multi-day event, that for me just shows that the economic benefit's going to be there for Te Awamutu, and like, I'm really happy to support that. And perhaps, you know, if I might just suggest that we bump it up to 3,000.
I'll support that, Liz.
Support 3,000.
Yeah, happy with that. Very happy with that.
3,000.
I'll second that.
How much done while you're away, Marcus?
My microphone's still not working, is it?
No, we can.
We can hear you.
It's
but
working
only
now.
just.
Yeah, very quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got computer issues. Who knew?
You, Marcus, wow.
Great. So, all right. So I'm supportive upping it up as well, because it does have big impact for Te Awamutu area. So is the agreement to go to $3,000?
Yep. Yes. I'll second that.
Yeah. And Claire, how does that affect us if we raise that to $3,000?
So yeah, I'll have to have a double check on the numbers, just because I think we had the incorrect amount there as well. Yeah, but that I think that's really good. That'll give them, I mean, it's still, if you look at their numbers, their expenses, that's still a small amount, but with that, it's definitely a help. But alongside the equipment, they won't have to hire as much stuff as well, so that'll bring their cost down there too.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Okay.
And definitely, willing to sort of help them along the way. You know, so I had offered to meet with the main organizer a couple of times previous, but I think she was just very busy and with other things, life things. So yeah, never got to that point. But yeah, definitely for next time, we'll make sure it's a priority to support them a bit better.
So how much does that leave us with then after we give them 3 instead of the 1?
It looks like we'll be left with 20,000. I'm looking on what's the page 31.
Yes. Yep, 20,000. That's correct.
Yeah, which is still leaving us a nice buffer, I think, for future things that are going to come along.
All right. So we happy to have a mover and a seconder then, so that we let me just bring up the things that recommendation A and recommendation B is changed from $1,000 to $3,000. And 3A resolved to set aside, that gets changed to $20,000. So I'll move here and can I have a seconder, please?
Yep.
Yep, move. All those in favour?
Aye.
Great. Harry, thanks. So item 8, the District Promotion and Community Event Funds cancellation process. Over to you, Claire.
Yep, sure. So it's basically just following on from the last meeting. I understand there was some feedback to the previous discussions, and which have been now amended. So it's basically that here I am here. Lost it now. So just basically going off the cancellations in terms of what alert levels we're at in terms of the events, but then also just popping down the events that have cancelled already. So you've got the list there, the 4 events that we've cancelled, giving us the extra funds into the account. But we're recommending that, sorry, cancellations. Funding can stay with the organiser to cover any costs incurred. Invoices from the supplier will be requested, and then any unspent funding will need to return to council within the 6 weeks of the cancellation notice. And then if funding is not released, but the event organiser has costs that need to be covered, that we can release those funds for them to be covered. But we'll need the invoices. And then for the postponements, if an event is has unpaid funding is just to stay with the council until the new date has been confirmed. And then if the funding has been released already to the event, the funding can stay with them so long that the event's new date is before the 30th of June, which is in the regulations, the rules and regulations. Is there anything to add to that? I think it was just basically going off what was last agreed on.
Yeah. Hey, so I was interested. I agree with all of that, but I guess I just had in terms of reimbursement of expenses, I kind of feel a little uneasy with it being so open-ended. I just wondered if we should be excluding wages in that. Just wondered what everyone's thoughts were. I just had a query around that it could be that most of if the event didn't go ahead, but we were funding wages, then in fact an invoice could be created to almost take the full extent of that what was funded anyway. So yeah, I just had a bit of an uneasiness around the openness of what could be reimbursed if the event did not proceed.
You're really talking about external invoices, Liz, so not the organisation's internal costs, external costs charged to that organisation. Is that what you're trying to differentiate?
I think yes, but I can also see some entrepreneurial event hosts creating an external services invoice as well for labour. I just wondered if it should be a non-labour expense. Kevin, you'll have a lot of experience with this.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, it's almost it's getting pretty complex, and a sort of a decision has to be made. Ooh, we're only talking, who would try and have a go at us, illegally or dishonestly is something that's a difficult one. And, if it was a professional event organizer, we've also got to keep them in business, not that they could do anything dishonest, but if they've incurred costs, we want to keep them going for next year as well, to come back and present events. Most of the costs here would be voluntary labour. So I think Merv's point is, if they've spent it on labour for an outside source, oh boy, that's a difficult one. I'd have to almost see an example to make a definitive there, but you want a definitive, Liz, don't you? And I'm sitting on the fence a bit.
That's all right. I guess I'm happy to be convinced. I guess I just don't want to see the funds. I don't want to see our event fund decrease and we not see the value of an event in Waipa. That's all. And there's just that potential.
Yeah, Liz, like what about if we change the wording in that first paragraph to say that the expenses had to relate directly to the event that's cancelled? And so then I think that covers Merv's sort of point of view. And in fact, I support Merv. We talked about last time that we really want to be protecting those people that are putting themselves out there and trying to organise these events. But if they're cancelled sort of quite close to the time, they will have incurred costs, and we want to actually make sure they're not out of pocket there. But that we wouldn't expect them to just claim from us like their normal, like if they already employ staff on a regular basis normally, like an internal cost, we wouldn't expect them to be claiming that. But if it's specifically related to the event itself that was cancelled, then those are the ones that we'd be okay about them claiming those expenses. But they'd have to justify it. They'd have to, be able to, draw a bright line around it and say, this was definitely to do with our preparations for that particular event.
And I think putting the word labour in there, Liz, like if an event organiser got a local builder in to do a bit of work and that builder charged a discounted labour rate and materials, you wouldn't want to exclude that.
And I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. You're quite right.
Just to add, Merv and Liz, Claire, I'm talking about Grassroots Trust. We had a lot of money that was out, that had gone out, and then events cancelled. I think we've been reasonably understanding of the costs incurred. Yes, it's auditable. They know that. And we haven't had anyone trying to defraud or even present. We're very strict on that. So I would rather, I think what Claire was saying, and Merv, I'll back what they're saying. All right. I'm going to back the decency of most people, but there's some criteria in our wording that allows that audit and certain cost reimbursement.
Yeah.
So somehow do we say something about, do we mention the words internal and external, or do we frame up, as Claire suggests, a bit softer wording, or I don't know, stronger?
So I'm looking at the B part of the recommendation, and under cancellations, point A, if the funding has been released to an event organiser, funding can stay with the organiser to cover any direct costs already incurred, and it says that the invoices will be requested as evidence of the incurred costs. And if you want to put in there that the understanding is that it wouldn't cover internal routine staff costs, that I don't know. I mean, personally, I think if people know they're going to be audited, and they know it has to be direct, I think they'll follow the rules. Yeah, they won't try and just get the wages paid for people that they're normally employing anyway.
Maybe. Yep. Go, Merv.
Sorry, Kevin. Claire, if we follow your wording, and you talked about direct costs incurred, you could put from external parties.
And I actually wanted to put, it has to relate to the event that was cancelled as well.
Yeah.
And so, because, I mean, they might say, well, these are direct costs because it's work we were doing, but it has to relate to the event that's cancelled. Yeah.
So external costs that relate to the event. I'd be really happy with that.
Do you think that's going to? I just want to check with Kevin. Do you think that would cover? It wouldn't disadvantage people?
Probably from the start, if funding has been released to an event organiser, the funding is to be returned to the Waipā District Council. But then you come in and say, hey, if there have been any direct costs already incurred, we're supporting evidence. So, there's a bit of an expectation in that sentence there. Funding can stay with the organiser to cover any costs directly incurred. That's almost like saying, well, that they could take advantage. Do you see what I'm trying to say there? Or am I splitting hairs?
So what you're saying is they should be asked to return all the funding and then
funding
be able to
shall be
claim their
returned.
Expenses.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that.
Do you see what I mean? I'm just going to, if costs have been incurred and have supporting invoices, the promotions committee will consider a reduction in the return of funds or something like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm really happy with that. That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
So do we need to see a rewording of that
Marcus
paragraph then?
Oh, we can't hear you again. Jesus.
We don't have to go through all the last 5-10 minutes, do we? Hope you can hear us at least.
Oh, I think he's dropped out of the meeting actually.
Oh,
Right.
So I'm happy to screen share the recommendation, and then maybe we can just put the words in if you like.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great
Yep.
idea.
yeah.
Yeah. Can we all see the screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not formatted very well, but you know, I can do that at a later stage. So one cancellations A.
Yeah, it was at that A point. Yeah. So we're saying that if the funding has been released, the funding needs to be returned.
Yes.
I might actually put that in a different colour. The funding.
Must be. Yeah.
Full amount.
Funding amount must be returned.
Or
Yep.
Yeah.
Returned
Must
in
be
full.
returned.
Yep. Must
the
be
full
returned.
funding amount, yeah.
Yep.
Be returned.
In
In
full.
full.
In full.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think Kevin said the District Promotions Committee will consider an application for.
Is this to follow on straight after this sentence?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Top
Yeah.
there.
District. Oh, probably better if I had it in review format, but the District Promotions Committee will consider.
Actual cost already incurred on production of completed invoices or yeah.
I think you said supporting evidence.
Yeah, supporting evidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
So
supporting evidence.
the District Promotions Committee will, that's a new sentence.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
So uppercase H there. The District Promotions Committee will consider an application.
Yes.
Will
Yes, an
consider,
application. Yeah, for actual
consider
costs.
an application.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah. To reimburse actual
To
costs.
reimburse actual
Yeah.
for reimbursement.
costs.
Yes.
Okay, yep.
Yep.
Costs already incurred.
Already incurred for the cancelled event. Yeah.
Yep.
And then on production. Yeah. Yeah. Of
That-
supporting. Yeah.
Now, there's no mention of external in there. Yes, we
Yeah.
have. I don't know.
Well, I'm comfortable if they could produce evidence that it relates directly to the cancelled event, and then actually it's the committee's decision.
Yes.
where they
Case
draw
by
the line,
case.
isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
So we can take out the funding with the organiser to cover any costs already incurred, can't we?
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the within 6 weeks though? I think we need to say that the funding amount must be returned within 6 weeks of the cancellation notice, perhaps.
So the next sentence can go to,
The sentence.
yeah, we've already covered, we're saying the whole lot comes back and we will
Then
then
6
reimburse.
weeks.
Yeah. But we need to put in within 6 weeks, I think.
At the end of the sentence.
After the word full,
Oh yeah.
right at the top.
Yeah. Within 6 weeks of
Yeah.
of the cancellation notice. Yeah. Of the cancellation notice as well, I think, Sam. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So does B still hold in its present form?
Yeah, I think that reads all right.
Yeah.
So we'll need to change B as well. So because if
Yep.
we're going to have, if the committee is going to be the one actually approving any release of funds.
I don't think it needs to be the committee though. Like, couldn't that be Claire and Amber's role to decide if the invoice?
Yeah, when it hasn't been fully released, yeah. So.
That's saying it hasn't been released at all, but we would have approved it. So we can delegate them on the production of suitable invoices to release part of it. Is that what we're saying there?
Yeah.
I guess I was querying why we would as a committee do A but not B, or should it, I mean, is there a difference?
Well, I thought there was a difference.
Well, I don't think the District Promotions Committee needs to consider the application to reduce sectoral costs. I think there should be staff can do that, if they're appropriate staff.
Yep.
Well, I think we got into the committee's involvement because in our discussion we thought there was a bit of a grey area and that we weren't comfortable without having any oversight that there might be some people that might be trying to claim more than what they should. That's all. And so by having the committee look at it as well, yeah, apart from staff, I think that's what Kevin's sort of.
Yeah, we're bringing some experience. We're bringing some commercial experience to the table as well, Claire.
Yep. So if everyone's happy with those recommendations then.
Yep.
Except just change the wording in B. You want to put the Promotions Committee in there rather than event and marketing advisor.
Well, I mean, I was comfortable with the advisor or the staff doing it, but up to a certain amount. I mean, maybe if we say if it exceeds like $30,000 or $50,000, that maybe we would be wanting to see something that larger quantum. What about that? No.
I think I'm happy with B as it is, or change the event and marketing advisor to be District Promotions Committee.
I guess our vulnerability in A, if we haven't released any money, if we've released it all and the thing's cancelled, we're far more vulnerable there than we are under B, where it hasn't been released.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
All right. Can I have a mover and a seconder then to accept the new recommendations?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Yep. So did you get that, Sam?
Sorry, was that Merv and Kevin?
Kevin.
Or Kevin and Cool. So we're happy with the resolution as it stood on the screen just recently?
Yep.
Great. So that brings us to the end of the meeting. Is there anything else here that you want to discuss? We're all here.
No, I think that's it for today. I'll let Florence know after this meeting that she's received the $500.
She owes me a coffee. Oops, I can't throw it.